Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Croncy-less Answer the Call. So, last minute, Croncy is pretty sick and messaged me, and I was literally on a call with Virgil talking about something else entirely different. And we were just talking about a lot of the things in the patch. And I was like, do you want to replace Croncy on the podcast? I need a guest. And he said, sure. But we just had to do it early. So if you're watching on YouTube, yes, early start, very early. The number of callers we might get to today probably will be 0. So keep that in mind. So in the spirit of Answer the Call, Virgil had some things that he was frustrated with, I guess. And I was like, oh, well, come on the show and talk about them. But then not in the spirit of the show. There's a bunch of other combat pilots that I'm sure would love to talk about it, but everything was last minute. So it'll be a bit of a weird show from that standpoint. But Virgil, how you doing? How's things been since the last time we talked on the show? It's been a while. Everything good?
Yeah, good, good. Yeah,
Nice.
good. I've been dabbling more into FPS
I heard.
since I was here too, like with all the crafting and stuff, and I've gotten really addicted at that, and then
Nice.
also disappointed at the same time, but that's another podcast. So
That's a part of SC. Yeah, I mean, the guys that you fight are constantly posting videos in Discord and stuff. I see, like Heim and them, and
uh,
I heard one of your main FPS guys is very angry with you, Rabid Crabs or something. Yet he's here in the chat supporting you, so that's probably not happening. So there's all this funny drama that goes on that's like probably not real, but I'm just looking on the outside at
no,
it and going, "Ooh,
it's the
popcorn."
real Housewives of Ruin. It's the Real
Yeah,
Housewives of Ruin station.
yeah,
Like every night, it's so good.
yep. But yeah, so I traditionally we would talk about everything that happened this week. We had a couple of, I think, pretty big patches because in the bug fix section there was like a lot of quality of life fixes, annoying things that they were fixing. We had an ISC, we had an SCL, we had a roadmap, we had a monthly report. So there was like tons of stuff. But your focus, if people don't know you, is what? What do
Oh,
you like to
it's
do?
I'd say I like to do FPS now too, but I'd say
Yeah, that's fine.
it's PvP. I actually don't like being put in the PvP box because I'm open to PvE content. I just wish it wasn't so easy and just participation trophy kind of stuff, which is what we got. So
Yeah.
if it was difficult, I'd be way more into it. But yeah, I guess I just I run an org that a lot of people know about, and yeah, I like the PvP. I just like the game being difficult and stuff like that. So a lot of that exists in fighter combat and
Yep.
FPS now too. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I like. I just like the PvP. I just like to play the game when it's hard.
Yep. And you stream on Twitch and make YouTube videos as well. So like a content creator now as also not just for a while it was I run the hardest core org in the game, and that was kind of your
Yeah.
like what people knew you for. But I think in the last year or so, a lot of content you've been making as well that's been quite good. And people have engaged
Yeah.
with. So all those links will be there. Again, this was very last minute, so I don't have like a command ready for you in the chat. I apologize. I know, part of doing this kind of
You're
stuff,
You're
I
good.
should be
Don't worry
like,
about
go
it.
watch Virgil, but yeah, this all happened last second. Um, but yeah, so if there was a topic that you wanted to talk about first, what would it be? Would it be the armor changes? Do you want to get that going, or do you want to talk about the Odin? Do you want to talk about fast travel? What would be the thing
I
that you
think we
would
should talk
want to
about
jump in right away?
all of it. Like just cover the
Of
whole
course, of
week, right?
course.
Because this is per week. But I mean, it's not a. I think I could provide some insight on the armor stuff too, and some confusion as well.
Let's
which
start with that
is
then.
where yeah. So in the community, it's so funny. In the community, there's this whole light fighter meta. or Light Fighter Mafia joke, which is like all the guys in the PvP community that like to do fighter combat and stuff. There's big dueling culture. You get a free fly. Everyone does the flare pass and stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's a that's a big community. It's probably one of the biggest. And it's like Jonathan Winter's Discord. It's like Avenger Ones groups. Like all the big PvPers. They're all involved in that aspect. And I think somewhere in like a video or something, people got the impression that light fighters just love to kill big ships. And I don't doubt that those people exist, but that's not like ever been the argument. And I think people like misunderstand that. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, light fighters just want to be able to kill everything and beat everything. And that's not the case. And last time I was on this podcast, I was arguing the point that, hey, I just think that no ship should be completely immune to to a large amount of ships, just because then there's not back and forth gameplay. And the prime example I always use, and I'm replying to the people that were shitting on me in the comments of the last ATC. Okay, I got you all on a notepad, by the way. But those guys, they were always like, oh, that's exactly what I bought my hammerhead for. It was for deterrence. And I just sat there, I was like, what the hell? Like, deterrence means you're sitting there doing nothing. Like, if a fighter can't do any damage to you, and your ship is purely designed only to fight and overcome fighters, if the dance doesn't happen, then you're just sitting there.
Have you
So
ever
like that was Go ahead, sorry.
sorry, yeah. Have you ever played a PvP game where there's like this very clear line between a safe zone and a non-safe zone? Like it's literally like I played Ultima Online back in the day, and in the PvP areas of the game, there's also these things that are just like moon gates that are just like fast travel places that get you around the world, the whole world very quickly. A very small circle around that moon gate is a complete non-combat area. You can't attack anybody inside of it unless you're a criminal or something. So what people do is they just stand in that moon gate, jump out, bait you, and it's cringe. So like the example that you're giving is, if I know I'm going to lose because you are a complete deterrent, I'm just not going to fight. Like nobody likes losing. Now, obviously somebody being able to win 100% of the time is also bad. And like, that's the conversation that we're trying to have here, is a little bit of balance. The last time when we talked about deflection, which I don't necessarily think is the issue right now, that at least what we were talking about before the podcast didn't sound like it was deflection and fighting big ships or anything like that. But the issue here is if somebody has an I win button, nobody has fun, because everybody ends up using the I win button, and then nobody plays, nobody has a good time. So the conversation with deflection last time was, okay, fine, make it extremely challenging to be able to kill an Idris with a light fighter, but don't make it completely impossible.
No, like I wouldn't want. No, I wouldn't. That's not my argument. My argument isn't that a light fighter should ever be able to kill that. My only argument is that if you just make the damage, like completely binary, whether it's like
so small,
you either can do it, but if you don't have a chance, then you're not going to participate. You're not going to play. And then the problem is for the other guys who are in, and I'm only thinking, and for the record, like this is not even what the discussion is. We're just clearing up the last ATC right now.
Exactly.
But like I'm only looking at this because I don't care if you can't attack hammerheads, great. I don't have fun shooting at hammerheads. Okay, it's not fun. Shooting at an Idris, it's the most boring thing ever. That's if they're immune, so be it. Totally fine with it. I'm cool with it. Go for it. But I just feel sorry for the guys that are supposed to get in these turrets of these ships, because they haven't had a game to play for a decade now.
Exactly.
And you're telling
what are those turrets for?
That they finally get to go fishing, but the fish aren't going to be there anymore? Like, because that's That's the way I look at it. It's like
Yeah,
if they're gonna get these turrets and the turrets gonna be good for once, who are they gonna be good against if the guys that they're going to get against are no longer gonna play with them?
exactly.
So it's
Like
like
the
the light
turrets are
fighter
meant to
guys
shoot
just gonna
light
take the ball and
fighters.
go home. Yeah. And the
If
light
the,
fighters aren't gonna go anywhere near it because they don't belong there. They're not welcome there. They can't do anything there.
yeah,
That's my only point. Yeah,
there's
and
a
I
whole
think
nother
people.
aspect of the game that's struggling, like where there isn't this uh rock paper scissors or anything like that significantly where okay there might be cap ships on the field and they're fighting each other and they're being used for something in this fight, but then light fighters have a role within this fleet battle that's going on, and
Mhm,
that doesn't really happen, right? So it,
mhm.
like I remember I think before we did the last podcast we watched like a clip from Thumb, right? That Star Wars ass looking clip where there was big ships. Like you guys
Oh
had a big
yeah,
fight with somebody, right? And there was big
yeah.
ships and there were light fighters, and he was in a light fighter, and there's just explosions and lasers everywhere. Like when CR says he wants cinematic fights, like that's got to be what he's talking about, right? So cinematic
Yeah,
fights
yeah,
are big ships fighting and little ships fighting. So,
yeah.
what do little ships do? And then I see somebody in YouTube chat say target bombers. Sure, you're probably right about that. But bombers don't get used. Bombers are essentially light fighters in the same scenario. They're not going to show up if they can't kill the ship, right? And if they
Yeah.
die to so there's a lot of stuff they have to figure out. But again, that was all last podcast.
Yeah,
As far as
yeah.
the
Another
armor
way to look at
changes
it too is
currently, go ahead,
it's
go
like
ahead.
remember the beginning of Star Wars, like Revenge of the Sith, which is episode 3, how they
Yeah,
have that huge space battle. It's just like it's fighters on fighters, and then it's capital ships are fighting capital ships. Like I'm a
yep,
big fan of that. I'm totally good with that. I'm
yeah.
just it's just for the
We don't
stuff
want
in between, which I think is a bit. I don't know if we should go that deep, but like I don't care I do not like I'm okay with it. If everyone thinks that light fighters shouldn't be able to attack Idrises, I'm totally cool with that. I'm just saying, like, for the ships in between, so not
mhm.
as big as capital ships, if you exclude them from playing against each other, they're not going to play against each other. And those guys that are in those ships that are in the middle, like the Hammerhead's a good example. Like, if they don't have anyone to play with, then that's it. And people's arguments again in the comments was, well, that's what I wanted my hammerhead for. If they don't show up because I'm in a hammerhead, that's great. Yeah, okay. Maybe that's great for you as the pilot, but the
Yeah,
guys in the
it's a
turret,
selfish view.
they're gonna they're only gonna come into your hammerhead maybe 2 times max, and then the third time they're gonna be like, "Why am I hopping in a turret? I don't get to do anything." I
Yep.
think that would be eventually what comes out of it. But again, I'm just saying, I do not care if fighters can't do damage to capital ships. And another thing I want to add to this, and which is to move on from the last ATC, right? We're
Sure,
already
sure,
moving
sure,
on.
sure.
Is one of the funniest things about like this week has been you go, dude. I'm smiling and laughing about this, like already just thinking about it. But every time you go look at the threads on Spectrum or Reddit, you can see that Legatus tag when they're making the post complaining about it.
Yep,
Like
yep.
you can see the badge, and oh my, it's so funny. Like it's actually hilarious.
Yeah, it's like
Every
that
time.
they're in the big ship. It's like that they paid to
Yeah,
win and they're speaking with a bias. You technically are also speaking with a bias, right? But not as much
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
this case.
yeah. But not
Um,
like, and not, and the problem, like, not to, like, I think like people get the people that are in the capital ships, they bought the capital ships, so they want them to be the absolute power dominance of the game. Okay, that like we get it, but they're not arguing with the light fighter community. They're arguing with people who just hate the Idris. Like it's not those guys. And I'll tell you this right now, and this is like I'm telling you this from being on the ground of this happening, like right in the middle of it. It ain't light fighters that are losing to capital ships. It's all the ships you guys wish you could multi-crew. Like the Perseus gets one shot by the Idris. Yeah, like just easy. It's complete food for the Idris every time. It's
The
constellations that are
hammerhead.
dying to it.
Yeah,
The
Connie's.
hammerhead. It's all the stuff in between. So like you guys should be working together because it's not like the fighters that are having a hard time with it. Um, and I think that it's like, when I tried to argue that, the rail gun's a bit out of control, which I'm sorry, I'm not gonna a lot of that's about 50 comments I'm about to get shit on, when I wake up reading.
Well, they
But
changed it in
the
4.8.
rail gun, yeah,
Yeah.
and I like that, but I don't think they like that. So we're about to get roasted about that in the comments. But
Oh, fuck
like
them.
that railgun, it was making like the Perseus did not have a place in any fights because
Yeah.
of that railgun. Connie's didn't have a place. Heavy fighters didn't have a place. Like
Yeah.
there were so many ships and weight classes that were completely knocked out of it because you were either in something tiny and microscopic or you were in an Idris, and there was no in between. And that was just because of that railgun. Like so that was the problem. But like the new armor changes, I've got no issue with. Yeah, like it's fine. I think that it's inconsequential. The light fighter guys aren't having fun killing Idrises. It's funny. One of the posts yesterday that I saw on Reddit was like, "Look how oh, it was a couple days ago, sorry, but he goes, look how this fighter is doing damage to my Idris," and the guys turned the shields off for the Idris. And it's just sitting there. So it's like, yeah, but why is this thing not moving around? Why is it powered down? Why the shields are off? But they didn't
they're
care to
saying that.
mention that.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's like it was a bit dishonest is my point. But I'm fine with it not doing damage again. Like I'm miserable when I have to PvP against big ships like that. Like I would never in the last 6 months, I don't think I've ever used a light fighter to even shoot an Idris. Like we just get friends to hop in the big ships and come. So it's all good. That's fine. But the problem is with engineering, to get to the main point of this. With engineering, they are just taking a bulldozer to the game balance.
Yeah,
And
can
what
we
a lot of
before
people
you
don't
start before you start, I think it's
Sure.
really important just to talk about something that happened this week and kind of why we're talking today, you and I, is I think we officially became aware that Torsten is getting like a much bigger role at CIG. Torsten is very active in the community, very willing to listen to feedback. Like everybody loves this guy, but he is now controlling ship balance, it sounds like, which was a surprise to me and I think a surprise to everybody. So the opportunity to speak on this publicly with the chance that he may or may not see it doesn't really matter. But that's somebody who's not focused on those things very much. And then somebody like yourself who has been in the trenches on this kind of stuff forever, the changes that he might be making might have knock-on effects that you can speak on and things like that. So that was my idea with like, oh, this might be really good for you to come on. Oh, it's Virgil's internet's struggling. Can you hear me, Virg? Or can we hear you?
No, I'm good. I'm just wondering if it's a
classic
bit funny,
Discord.
that's all.
So yeah, you have this guy who's been focusing on mining and things like that for a while, coming in and now kind of shaking up balance changes and things like that. And then you have guys who want to talk about what knock-on effects might be happening or whatever, right? So
Yeah,
that's one of the
like,
reasons why you're here today for me.
Yeah, and so they took a bulldozer to like the current balancing when it comes to everything with engineering, and like if people recall the patch notes, like 3 months, 3 to 6 months ago, the balancing was done by Montic, who's the Italian guy on SCL. If you've ever seen him come on and stuff like that, and I gotta say, like, when I've played the game coming on 8 years now, the balancing has never been in as good a place when it comes to, and I'm going to put a big emphasis on this because people are going to say, oh, the heavy fighter and stuff. when it comes to dog fighting, the balance has never been as good as when Montic was running the show on
What
it,
what does
which is
dog fighting mean?
so like agile, flight, light fighter PvP,
Light
medium
fighter,
fighters, and so
right?
on. Yeah,
Light
so
fighter,
like the
medium fighter, and then
interceptors.
maybe some heavy.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I'd just throw heavy out. Heavy is a complete failure.
Okay,
They've got to look at that. I don't want to give them any credit for that. I think I'd be doing the heavy guys no favors by giving
fair
them
enough.
credit for that. But when it comes to snubs, interceptors, light fighters, and mediums, it was in the best place under his watch, which just meant like there was a wider variety of ships that you could use. The really bad stuff got fixed, and the good stuff for the most part like was protected, right? It was just a really good balance, and it was really good balance because of how he was doing work. And I can't praise the guy enough. It wasn't perfect, but like he went around talking to all the communities.
Not
He
just
was talking
you.
to content creators. Yeah, yeah, way more than us. All kinds of dudes like he was talking to, all the orgs in their discords and stuff, getting all this feedback, and it felt like he was like almost a part of the PvP community or the wider community as a whole, and really fixed a lot of the problems that just never were fixed. And you guys will remember those patch notes, you know, again, in the last like 9 months, where it was like we did a light fighter balance pass, we did a interceptor balance pass. That was him, and he spent, you know, most of that year putting in some like really good work, and then engineering came in, with I guess a necessity to deliver on time to disable instead of time to kill,
Yeah.
and like engineering and armor came in, which were these massive impacts on the game, and so all that balancing just got like completely knocked over,
Now, there was something
and
when we were talking that you mentioned, and I want to make sure we jump into this right now. This emphasis on
sure.
time to disable instead of time to kill.
Yeah,
What has happened in the more recent patches when you disable a ship that you told me
yeah.
about?
So
Takes very long to do
yeah,
something, right?
so say like, yeah, say you're in like a 2v2, just as a random example, like,
Yep.
or it's better if we use a 3v3. If we're in like you're in a random 3v3, you'll shoot some at a ship and you probably land the kill in 20 seconds, and then you have to shoot at the ship standing like, which is just floating in space, and you have to shoot at it for like 60 seconds after that to fully destroy it. And then the problem is like if you're in a multiple ship scenario, you don't have the time to sit there standing still shooting at a ship for like 30 seconds to a minute for it to explode. So you have to go focus on the next guy. And then the problem is the first guy you disabled repairs
Because of
and then comes
engineering.
back to life. So it's like you're fighting these people and they're coming back out of the grave, and you're like, oh my god, like trying to deal with them like over and over. So it became the meta that you would disable someone and then you'd shoot off their wings so that when they came back from the grave, they didn't have any arms to kill you with.
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculous. Like it
Yeah.
was so silly. And like I've got all these clips of like 10 of us all just shooting at one guy to try and fully destroy the ship, but he's in like an arrow, and it's 10 of us shooting at him for like a minute. Like it's so silly. So it's like really poor, and I get it, they needed time to disable, because time to disable's a mechanic I love. Like I love it as a mechanic because it's allowing, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but like when it comes to cap ship fights, so
I
Idris
know
fights,
nothing about. I have not touched combat for
I'm gonna
over a
start
year.
bringing you.
I
I'm gonna
just
start bringing you to this stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I
But
hate it. That's the
it,
thing is I hate the idea that it's like what we're dealing with now, this constantly in flux, everything changing all the time. It's just frustrating for me because I don't have the time to learn it. So I'm like
yeah,
whenever we're like more settled, and I know that is such a shitty excuse. It's such a space stat excuse because what I learn now will affect the speed at which I learn in the future,
Mhm.
right? But I don't have the energy.
The reason I say it's worth doing now is because there's so much. room to do so much stuff now. And like, so what I was saying is with like time to disable, when you take out an Idris, like the only way to take the Idris out now is to take out the shields, then you take out the power plant. The power plant gets disabled, and then the best thing you can do is board the Idris,
Yep.
and then guys run in, they repair the power plant, then they rush the bridge and they self-destruct it. And it's like added this layer of it's justified FPS players for the first time in a decade.
Yep.
Like the FPS guys, uh, anyone that's an FPS in our org, like is like we have to apologize to them because we're all having fun without them. But now like they're finally getting to board capital ships and have like a crucial role. So time to disable is amazing because it's turning every cap ship into an FPS match. It's adding all these layers to the game. It's welcoming different like gameplay loops. It's amazing. But holy shit, does it suck in an Arrow and a Gladius? Like
Yeah.
I don't know why it's there. There's no added value when it comes to like fighters. It's terrible. So
I was
it's
talking
like
about this
I wish
earlier.
it was I wish
The
it was like
Go ahead.
if a ship is crewed, it is time to disabled. But if ships are single seat,
Yeah.
then it should just be time to kill, in my opinion. Like because it's really silly. Like and the more numbers in these fights, the more it gets, the more ridiculous it gets. You get people coming back from the dead. You have to kill them twice. You, it's crazy.
What
So
what about
one
like
of
this
my
whole
Go ahead.
death of a spaceman? Because like for me, what we were talking about before you got on the show today was
Yeah.
aren't light fighters and maybe medium fighters, aren't they like time to kill should be low on them? And then the the ship doesn't need to explode, but the ship does need to be out of the fight potentially. And it's
Mhm.
like so like the character doesn't need to die, but the explosion needs to happen to get the cinematic thing that Chris wants. And the that's sort of what happens with the light. It's light. They need to
Yeah.
die, right? And they need to
Yeah.
die fairly quickly. And then the bigger ships obviously can take a little bit longer, like you're saying. But to me, it was like the light fighter pilot. I'm making assumptions here.
Mhm.
Don't aren't you isn't that what gets your heart? It's a risk reward thing. Your heart's pumping
Yeah.
because you could die soon if you fuck up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the risk for sure. And I don't mind. Like I don't. I get it. Death of a spaceman. Like
Fuck
how
that shit, man. Just get rid of it.
yeah, are fighters like going to die every 2 minutes? Like, is it death of a spaceman every 2 minutes? Like, I get that argument, and to that I'd say like if you have a gun to my head, and I had to make a choice, it's like then just stop us from being able to repair. Then like just that's it. Like
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
time to disable, then we can't come back. Yeah, like we gotta call for help, and someone's gonna come pick us up. But just randomly like hitting a button, it's a 2 minute cast time, and then you're back in business.
yeah. And if you
It
raise the
doesn't make
time,
any sense.
if you
Yeah,
raise the time, it's a
yeah,
horrible experience for them. So it's just
yeah.
there's no good answer with the way they've gone about it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I'd rather it just be like you shoot the ship, it's destroyed. That's it. Like, but if I had to choose, just stop us coming back from the dead because it's so dorky and weird, and you get these really odd interactions where like sometimes the fact that they got disabled early actually helped them, and like it's really awkward. It's really weird. People are miserable about it. Like I we've got that SC PvP Discord. You're in it,
Yeah.
but like everyone over there is so miserable about it. Like it's everybody's opinion, and I think I could speak on behalf of the entire PvP community. And I'm thinking about 1,000 people when I say this, and maybe people are happy with it right now. But 4.7 is described as like the worst patch they've ever done, kind of stuff. Like it's miserable for everybody, and I agree. Like there's nothing good about this, and the worst part about it all is to loop back to what I was saying earlier is like it felt like Monty did a real great job with the balancing, and they just canned his work, like all of it just thrown out the window is the feeling. So when it when it comes to like why I came on the podcast again, it's that the Star Citizen is a game that they're developing, and the most polished, deep gameplay that this game has had has been fighter combat. That's the essence of Star Citizen. It started with Arena Commander. It started where you were in Hornets, and it was always fighter combat at the soul of it, at the center of it, and then they just expanded around it. And I think that this is the first time that they've knocked that down completely to a degree, and have like really undone a lot of the polish that was there. And I wish that they were building on top of it rather than just knocking the thing down, because SC was like every patch for me the last 8 years has been, oh, they got rid of Jump Town, but I still got dogfighting. I've still got Arena
Yeah,
Commander. I can still fly around and bounty hunt. Like I can still do these things. And now's the first time where it's like, oh, this is the worst it's ever been kind of stuff.
yeah,
And I don't blame them. I get it. Like they've got to get from A to Z as quick as possible. So maybe they needed to be brutal about it. But yeah, I wish that they were more careful with the changes they were putting in, because they just don't understand. At least I think they don't understand how well of a job some people had done on how carefully that was balanced. Um, and whether that's Torsten and his group, or
yeah. He may have been
whoever's
involved at that
developing
time.
it
Who
now.
knows? It's hard to know when
Yeah,
this
yeah,
change actually happened.
yeah. So it's like who don't know who, but it was really delicately put together before, and yeah, now it's like there's gigantic gaps in what makes sense. Like it fundamentally uh doesn't make sense is the best way to put it. Things don't make sense now in fighters, like, and the fact that the attritions got nerfed is like a good example of it. Like everyone in the org, in my org, is like, wait, why did they nerf the attritions?
Because they were
Because
the
the
meta
ballistics,
from their
yeah, but the
perspective, and from
ballistics were
mine not
the
knowing.
actual,
Yeah,
and the ballistics were the actual meta. No, what we weren't even touching attritions. The attritions were a waste of time, because why bother using attritions when you can just go straight through the shields with shredders? So it's like, if anything, they needed to nerf shredders and leave the attritions the same way. And like I said to you in the call, but if they nerf the shredders next patch tomorrow, then we're even more screwed, because then the TTK, it's going to take like 2 minutes to kill people. So, and that's the problem right now. Is like you shoot at someone, and by the time they've gone, oh, I'm not winning this fight, they just fly away or or quantum jump away, and they're at 90% health still. So
yep.
it's like you can't close the deal. You can't get close to closing the deal. And
And that's
like
fine
archetypes don't
in
make sense.
larger ships. That's fine in a Connie. That's
Yeah,
fine in a
yeah,
Asgard. Like that kind of makes sense there, but they're applying the same
yeah,
balance to I see what you're saying now. I never really thought of it that way, of like just get rid of this idea from the fighter combat, and it'll probably be immediately like a better experience. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. That makes some sense to
yeah.
me.
I don't
Again,
think there
I don't
was
know, but it
the
sounds good.
people people in the people in the fighter community, like, they disagree on flight. Like people have very different opinions about what they want out of flight,
Yeah,
but they're happy with like the guns, the experience, the capacitor. Like I don't hear people complain about capacitor stuff like that.
yeah.
And it's like
I
the
was
only
about to.
disagreements are about flight. Yeah.
I was
But it's
about to
like,
only
but now
because
it's like,
sorry, I was about to with the capacitor only because
go ahead.
in relation to the ship not dying after soft death or whatever, after disable, that's where the worst experience probably feels, is like you empty your capacitor, you wait, you empty your capacitor, you wait, you empty your capacitor, you wait, you empty your capacitor, and then they die. And it's like, well, that's the
Yeah.
shittiest experience of all time. So yeah, but that was the only thing I was gonna say. That was not worth interrupting you. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did it. Go
Oh,
continue. I probably
you're good.
totally
You're
knocked you off
totally good.
track.
No, just understand through the like, because we're in Oz and we're far apart. It
Yeah,
it might sound like I'm interrupting you. It's the lag. My bad.
yeah,
Like
and
it's
same
not. I don't
vice
mean to do
versa.
it.
I'm trying to like
Yeah.
jump in and like stop you in one spot because you're yapping, and I'm trying to like get you to stop at that point before you go on to the next one. But then because you're in Australia, it
Yeah.
gets all fucked up. Yapping in the best
It
way
always comes
possible.
across
Possible, by the way.
it always comes across like I'm interrupting people, and I don't mean to. It's just like
No,
the
we're
delay.
used to it here.
But but no, like and that's that yeah, so that's how I would put it. I would put it as like, man, I wish Monty would be back on fighters. I wish they were trying to work on fighter combat with a scalpel to fix the or make better the experience, because fighter combat's so fleshed out, it's so deep, the skill ceiling was really high, and it's plummeting, and the fun aspect of it doesn't make sense anymore, and it just feels like, damn man, like that's where you guys were doing your best work. Like it was, we always had fighter combat. It was that's what had the most depth, the most time spent on it. There's head tracking, VR, there's radar, there's all kinds of weapons. Like fighter combat was looking really good, and now there's huge question marks, and people just don't even want to play it now. Like, and the numbers don't lie. Like, you go to Arena Commander, the dueling community is like almost completely dead as of the last 2 months because of this patch. For sure, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So, again, yeah, and just so the guys in the comments with the Idrises, understand, that's what we're complaining about. Yeah, that's our complaint when it comes to ship armor and stuff. It's fighter versus fighter combat is what everyone in the light fighter mafia want fixed. It's not first the Idrises and stuff. Like, we're totally fine with that. You can be immune, you can do what you want, all good. Totally cool with it. You guys are immune. I'm happy for it. Yeah, it's the fighter versus fighter stuff. Like, I really wish got some love and they fixed
Or
up a bit.
or lack of change or whatever, right? Because you're pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point to move over from, because we're talking about massive
Yep.
ships. What do you think of this
Yes.
Odin? To me, this is just way over the top. It's like Star Citizen finally felt like they were like, all right, let's focus on the game, and like here's here's our big ships, here's what that, and then they throw in this ship that is like twice the size of an Idris, and sure, it visually looks awesome, but like, where does this fit? Like, to me, I just go, okay, but where does this fit in the game? Like, thank God it's just an image, but like eventually they need to put it in the game. It's something they have to deliver for 1.0 because it's a Kickstarter goal. So to me, I look at this and I'm like, dude, we're going to be like one-shotting Idrises, and then Idris pilots are going to be complaining. Like, and we're just back to the same bullshit.
I'm just happy that it's not pilot controlled. Like, that's one thing. Like,
do we know that for sure?
Which is, I can't say for the new Hammerhead variant. No, I'm just assuming it. Like, that's totally an assumption.
Yeah, that looks pilot controlled for sure.
Yeah. The little mini Idris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when it came to, like, to be honest, I saw it. I went, wow, it looks really cool. I wish all the capital ships looked like that and made sense, because it's got like the gimbal turrets. I'm like, perfect. Like, that's
top
that's
and
my
bottom
idea of a cap ship. It's not like an Idris with a gigantic cannon that only the pilot. Like, this is what a cap ship should look like. So that's awesome. I kind of didn't take it seriously because when I first backed this game, it was 2018, and that was the year, I think, that they announced the Kraken. And I remember, like, me and my friend who I made the org with, like, we were talking to each other like, oh, can't wait to get the Kraken next year. The Kraken's gonna be so good. Like,
yeah,
it's gonna be it's my new capital ship is gonna be the Kraken. And 7-8 years later, like, we're still saying it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
So I just applied the same logic, and I'm like, man, we're never gonna see this thing. Like, this thing's gonna be so far out.
It's
So
whale bait.
I try not to let it torment me. Yeah,
It's whale bait.
I think, and that whole, like, send us a paragraph thing, like, I think that was stalky. Like,
Yeah, but I think it was an
maybe
attempt
show
to
us
be
your
like, are you a
credits,
real
okay.
human?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's all I
I
feel
don't know.
that.
Which, if that's the case, okay, props to it. But just be honest about it. But like,
Yeah.
if you're like gonna pick favoritism over who has the right to buy the five that I don't know how much it is, $5,000 spaceship. That's a bit weird. But if they're saying it's to avoid scalpers, then bravo. But just tell us you're doing that so I can give you the credit for it.
Yeah. Um,
But
the
I didn't
other
write in a
thing,
paragraph, nor will I.
fair enough. Now, the other thing about this is a role I don't know if you would enjoy playing, but it's definitely a role that would have to exist within your org. But you have
Mhm.
played it. So I've watched your stream, seeing you in an M50, and you're the shot caller, you're the FC with your
Oh
fleet when
yeah.
you guys are fighting big battles, right? One
Mhm.
thing on SCL this week was Jared saying, Jared, we all know you're fucking bullshitting and you don't play the game. So like you're never gonna play the game. We all know this. But the he's like, the role I want to play is basically the FC, is the shot
Mhm.
caller. And that was like, he's like, the ship has like the big Star Wars like radar bubble thing at the top, right? And all that.
Yeah, yeah,
And they're
yeah.
like implying that this is like a big part of this ship. But I want to hear what you think about that role. It sounds like it's a big part of their initiative for these social tools that they're talking about. But the is that a role that you want to play in the game? And if you do, like, for one thing, I recorded Weekend Review before the podcast today, and one of the
Yeah.
things that I said was like, well, okay, but not every fleet is going to have a cap ship in it. So the role has to be played not just by a somebody sitting on a hollow table, but it has to be played by somebody potentially in a light fighter, a medium fighter, or heavy fighter too, depending
I did.
on the fleet composition. Is it a role you want to play? If so, what do you see it being like? What would you want to see from it? Does it excite you? I was just kind of curious because I've seen you play the
It's
role.
it's funny because I mean, like in small bandwidth fights, so like it's just like 10 fighters.
Yep.
The bandwidth's so little that it's easy to do. Like
Yep.
that's usually when I do it. And I tell you what, like in the last year, now with Idris is in, and especially engineering,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give Disco credit here. You have to have someone that does that. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
there's been fights that we've had this year that had like a couple hundred people in them, and I went and I sat there, and I remember like after we were like debriefing about it, I was like, "Fuck, do I need to just sit in someone's Idris and be jumping around like Discord channels and stuff, like organizing everybody
Yep.
because it becomes like a full time thing." Like, and
Yeah.
it's real. Like, you have to do that. Like, you have to, and we've done like layered comms. Like, we got TeamSpeak where you mess like you you press this button to talk to the guys in the cap
Yep.
ships. You press this button to talk to the FPS guys, like which is a lot of people are used to that. But it's gotten to that point where we have to organize it to that. And I'd say that if engineering played a more critical role and these fights got deeper in mechanics, you'd have to do that. I
Yep.
almost have to do that now. And the only reason, like, and the the argument has been, well, Virgil, let's just throw you in an Idris. And I said to the guys, I said, yeah, but then I'm just gonna be the first Idris to die. They're all just gonna go after my interests
Yeah.
instead of everybody else's interests. So it's like there's been times where, we're in these big fights and I'd be in a fighter, and then I just have to fly off to deep space and just start managing people because there's just so much going on. It's like, hey,
Yep.
you guys in this channel, you need to board this ship. You guys in this channel, you need to board this ship. How's the boarding going on that ship? How are the capital ships doing? Have we recovered this guy? How are the fighters going? Are the interdiction going? Like, you have to do that. So
Yep.
to Disco's credit, like I think that's going to be a thing for
Yeah.
sure.
I
Like
think it's gonna be a
it's
thing
already,
too.
I'm already there.
I mean more of the sense of it doesn't need to necessarily involve a cap ship. Like the
Mhm,
calling, because I mean you've played Eve, I've played Eve. There's all different types of fleets that don't
mhm.
necessarily involve big titans and things like that, right? And
Yep,
those
yep.
have FCs and they're calling shots at for certain things, right? And they have the tools to be able to
Yeah.
do so because you could broadcast and all sorts of things like that. So, you know what as a light fighter pilot, if you were just going out with light fighters, we know the hollow table thing is going to exist. You click it, this is the target kind of thing. That seems very simple and seems almost achievable. Almost achievable. We'll see. But the as a as somebody in a light fighter, what do you see that being like? Like if you're just going out with you and the boys and you're all in gladiuses potentially.
Mhm. Mhm.
How are you shot calling? Because we have the tools to do it. Do you keep it exactly the way that we have it now, except it's just pushed out to everyone? I would say, yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think you need it in like in dog fighting. I don't think you need it, and the reason is because it's not it's not like other games where you call a target and everyone goes on that. And if you do that, then you're playing the game wrong. But like because
Ooh,
everyone's
I'd
at
argue
different
against you.
ranges.
I'd
Yeah,
argue against
well,
you.
the meta is the meta. Like if I have 10 guys and we all go on one guy, not all 10 are going to be in range. Like think about that like 1k
Sure.
range on the radar stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like if I call a target, then 2 out of the 10 are going to be in range and 8 out of 10 are going to be trying to get into range. So it's always better to just like split out and disperse and everyone goes to their separate targets and does like crossover and stuff. So I'd say like a game of soccer doesn't necessarily have a shot caller, I would imagine. Right? Like I don't think that there's a guy. Maybe it's the coach, but
They have a
you
strategy,
know,
but yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think that that's probably how it comes down to in fighter combat for now. Maybe when the game deepens, for sure, but there's not like when it comes to shot calling and like sweaty 10v10s, like around that number. It's like I call to warp in, I call to warp out, I call if we're losing to get the hell out and to kill like an interdictor, and that's it. There's not too much depth to it. So unless the game mechanics got more deeper, then sure, but it's just more on an individual level, I think, at
All
the
right, let
moment.
me argue you, and this argument comes from
Sure,
watching your content. Is
sure.
when you're fighting with your group, somebody will call in Discord that they are like, I got two guys on me, I'm in trouble. And then you'll immediately go, all right, everybody, we're heading over there. So the ability to highlight, because then what's the problem that we have in the game? How do you click to that person, lock onto their area or where they are, and find them quickly without searching all over the place to find them? Like that's where I'm saying like some of these
So
some
you're
of
saying
their
you want like broadcasting targets and stuff is what you're talking
yes,
about, right?
broadcasting I need help or broadcasting a
Mhm.
target of this is the main target. I think that that is, and then the way that
Yeah.
that's displayed, because another thing that they also talked about on SCL is missiles, something that we could definitely talk about today as well, is um they want to make it so it's more obvious like the directions things are coming from, where they are, like communicating the communication of where things are in the game with the UI and all those things, not fantastic. It's something I struggle with as somebody who's played the game forever still. And
Yep.
if they communicated that in a way that was easy to understand, quick to turn to, and all sorts of things like that, I would love that. So like, hey, I need help, being able to broadcast that with a click of a button, and then it creates some sort of a very obvious thing. Then you guys all turn and help that guy, or this is the target. Boom, 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 boom. It's like fucking flashy me over here. To look over there, kind of thing, and then everybody looks over there. I think would be helpful too, and that could be done with a keybind no matter what ship you're in. And then, they want to do the hollow table thing where some guy feels like he's the fucking, the admiral of the fleet or whatever, and you ever see the memes of that guy like what's the sexiest sound in the world, and it's like a girl, and then the Henry guy who just plays those like milsim games starts blowing the fucking whistle, like you want to
Oh
role
my
play
God,
that guy. Yeah, that
I
guy.
know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking
Like if you want to
about.
be that guy, like that's what Star Citizen is trying to sell the fucking
Come
big
on,
ships
chaps.
to. Come on, chaps. Fun! Like, you know, you want to be that guy, go ahead, right? Like, that's who they're trying to sell these huge ships to and that idea to. But yeah,
Yeah, true.
so like that's fine. But I feel like just, you know, very simple mechanics with keybinds is the most important aspect.
Yeah. I'd be
Yeah.
open to it for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it makes sense.
What do
Not
you
a
think
bad
about
thing.
the what they talked about missiles? Did you hear that?
No,
Okay.
enlighten me.
They're too fast and the networking can't handle it. Everybody knew that. And they want to
Yep,
make
yep.
it so they're slower. You could tell where they're coming from. They even mentioned maneuvering your ship away from them, like with your flight, as well as more obvious like UI elements so you know where it's coming from. And then they were like,
Oh
we don't like
no.
the way countermeasures work right now. Like it's just too simple. You press a button and the missile either hits you or it doesn't.
You know, I got a guy in my org. His name's Bob, and for sure he'll be watching. He's a huge lurker of this. I tell you what, I need to go check in on him after this podcast, after hearing this, because like he's gonna be super upset about all of this. Because his
Yeah.
whole argument, like he's been making like threads about missiles, about how he wishes the gameplay was like faster paced, more exhilarating, and and stuff like that. And they're complaining. I don't understand it, to be honest. Like, I get it, but I also don't. Like, I never I've died to missiles, but
Sure.
missiles have been outplayable for like years for me. It's like I know when what type of components I have, and I know how hot they're gonna be. And I know that if I come out of nav, my flare count needs to be higher than normal. Like I've never struggled with missiles. Not to say I haven't died to them, but it's in my control. It's always been in my control. Like
I think their
I
argument
cannot. I
is
think
that's not fun. It's too simple. It's too. They use the word binary. It like works
yeah,
or it
yeah.
doesn't.
I mean, I think the missile gameplay should be better. I think it should be more reliable. I think that there should be skill to defending against it, using it for
Yeah.
sure. But making it super slow paced and stuff would be a terrible idea, I would think, because the whole point is it's not fun for the guys launching missiles either. So if you just have like slow coming missiles and you go like, here they come. It's like Austin Powers where that, the he's like coming down the hallway and he's screaming no for like 50 seconds or something, and it's like, yeah, it's like that. So I don't know. It's hard to. Some people want missiles gone. I was fine with them. I would just want them to be fun to fight against and to use. So I don't really have a opinion on it. I don't think.
Okay.
Hopefully it's fun for everybody. That's all. And but I think that should be a play style. Here's like one thing I'll hammer on here. There's we need to protect gameplay styles, and CIG are terrible at this. They are absolutely terrible at this. Is a play style will come out, and people are like, but damn, like this is a lot of fun. They nerf it, and they've instead of like nerfing it, they've deleted it.
Yeah.
And the Firebird's a good example. A lot of people were really liking the Firebird, and now you can't fly the Firebird. It's like almost dead in the water. Another example was like I'm struggling to think of one. But regardless of the point, there's like something unique about like EMPs, for example, like in the Hawk and stuff, where you would shoot their shields down and then you'd EMP their ships. Different ways to do combat is like a good thing that I think should be protected. I don't think everybody should be forced into a light fighter with laser repeaters, and that's the only way to play the game. I think that when
Preach.
a play style like a Firebird, EMPs in addiction comes in, if it's strong, look at it, and people love it. Isolate why they love it, protect why they love it when you balance it. Don't just delete it off the board. and
Yeah,
that's what they do a lot of the time. They just they don't understand that what they're getting rid of. It's like here's a good example. I love the parallax right now in FPS. It's
sure.
awesome. Why do I like the parallax? Because you hold the trigger, you're at risk of overheating it, and you have to feather it so that you're holding the chain lightning stream. And if you let go, you lose the stream, right? So it's like there's this mini game when you're using it, and you want to like start firing it before you get around the corner so that you're at max DPS by the time you're starting to shoot them. So
Hmm.
there's like this whole mini game to it. If they just nerf it, then that entire mini game's gone, and I'm just using a P8. I'm just holding the trigger down.
Yeah.
It's like it's like I like that this has got so much different to other guns, and I wouldn't want them to just nerf the gun that it's useless. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, that was a whole game. That was a whole little gameplay element I was playing, or mechanic that I was having a great time with.
I mean,
So
I
it's
keep
like
coming
that.
on here and saying, when are we going to do things like both ballistics and lasers are viable weapons to use? There's ships that are better at defending against one versus the other, and it could be
Yep.
different manufacturers, it could be whatever you want to do. And then like they a gladius may, just giving an example, may be more effective at using ballistics than lasers, but an arrow may be more effective at using lasers than ballistics, and vice versa. And
Yeah.
like, hey, there's an arrow here. You kind of use your game knowledge, you know what you're coming against. They have bonuses for using those things. And then you have scouting, so you know if you're fighting against a certain group of ships, you know what to bring and things like that. And then, I mean, when we're talking going back to missiles, it's like, what if just I don't know what to do with missiles. But for me, like, it's so hard without skills, like actual like skills that you gain in the game, or something to that effect, where it's like I fire a missile and there's a check of whether or not it's going to hit, and if I do certain things, that check can reduce the chance of whether it gets hit or not. And I but it doesn't, like, it still
Mhm.
might, it may not, but that doesn't feel good either. So I don't want to make that suggestion, because that's, the feeling of getting unlucky, I don't know, doesn't feel good either, right? Like, I don't do we really
Yeah.
want Star Citizen to be Hearthstone? Like, no, of course not. But I don't know a world where you have where you don't start adding more RPG type feel to these experiences to create that differentiation. I'm not smart enough to see a different way. Um, that's basically what all I want to say is that's how I see it, but there's probably a better way. But they keep trying to do this. It's only based on the skill of my hands on a stick. And then their audience is the average age of fucking 75. Like, who are you making the game? So it's like this really weird thing of like, I'm one of the youngest people in the community. I have gray hair. So what are we doing? And so
Yeah.
it's a weird one, for me, and I struggle with it. I just see, well, it makes sense. It like, I know why I died and I know why I win in games that are RPGs. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I struggle
Yeah.
with.
And there was a bit of randomness to it, but like it was not problematic. God, there's randomness to me flying out of my fucking hangar. Like I might crash and
Yeah,
this like the hangar
sure.
doors aren't actually open, but um I like the missiles, I don't want to sound egotistical about it, but you could play around it. Like it was you, you could I used to just I'd set my flares to 4 and I could flare and forget every
Yeah.
time
But
until
that's
I was out of
horrible.
flares.
Like,
That
what I'm
was
trying to say is
I
missiles
didn't
need to be more like another gun.
Yeah,
Like
no,
like
and
you
that's
have
where they used to
ballistics,
be
you have
though.
lasers, and now you have these missile boats. So missiles have to be treated like lasers or like ballistics in a way in order for it to be
Yeah.
successful,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
And yeah, yeah, and it used to be like that, Mike. Like, and this was Bob's argument was the Firebird, I blame Monty. For all the credit I give you, Monty, I'm gonna shit on you here, okay? But
I mean, the
he
Firebird was
made the
troll, was it not? Like, it was
bro, it
toxic.
wasn't
It was
that bad,
funny.
but it was They had the min lock distance was really short. So like what you could do with a Firebird is you could like fly up to someone and right before you were about to hit 1000 you'd let them rip. And
Yeah.
then like your perspective would be beep 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 boom and you could react in time.
Yeah.
And like it was so much fun because you had to like you were terrified of what was behind you. You were scanning to try and find them. You were looking for their streams
Sure.
coming your way. You would use your chaff, you'd flare before they got the lock. Like, and sometimes they'd play head games with you where they'd lock, so you just hear the beeping noise, but they never launched the missiles, so they
Yep.
could like psych you into using flares.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun, but now the gameplay is like you just launch missiles and you flip a coin and you just pray it's gonna hit. But
Yeah, and
they've got
99% of
plenty
the
of
time it
time.
doesn't.
And the problem was like back then, before they nerfed it, you could like flight played a part in it because you wanted to get close. You actually had to fly, so there was like a little bit of I don't want to say too much, but there was like skill to it because you
Yeah.
had to fly close and you had to time it well. But because they removed that short lock distance, now you just at 5 kilometers out, you just let them rip, and that's
Yeah.
it. Like so where they had gameplay before and people were having fun, it might not have been as great balance. It could have used a little bit of balancing. They deleted that whole style, dude. It's like that all that like merging, timing it, not getting it too early, not getting it too late, surprising them with it, playing head games with it. That's all out the window. Now you just lock and launch it 3K, 5K, whatever. Like
Yeah,
in
rip.
no depth to it. And they do things like that. They like when cannons have been good in the past. It's like and people are like, man, I'm loving cannons. I miss cannons. It's like, you don't have to delete it off the board. You should make it still good because people enjoy that. I think that's to loop it back around. People have fun with mechanics, and instead of deleting them by nerfing them into the ground, balance them and protect them and keep them so that there's multiple ways to play the game. There should be such things as a really good missile pilot, a really good
Yep.
multi-crew pilot, a really good crew, a really good light fighter pilot, a really good heavy fighter pilot. There should
And they
be,
agree, I would think. I think that's what they're trying to
yeah.
get to. They're just struggling.
Oh, they're terrible at getting there though. They're
Well,
so bad at getting there.
yeah, it's this constant. Well, now it's like, what is this? The fourth fucking chief, or cook in the kitchen now, and
Yeah,
it's like always like Chris wants this certain thing, and then it's like, oh well, let's try somebody else and see if they can figure it out. But the I think it's like they keep trying to get one aspect of it, and I'm not sure what it is, but it always has a knock on effect that prevents it. Like I don't know how I'm saying this, but they're always trying like these big massive changes first, instead of, I don't know, maybe dialing in very small bits of it. Like, we really like the way lasers feel. And when I say lasers, I don't just mean repeaters. It's like laser cannons, laser repeaters, the cinches, and like we really are happy with that. Okay, we love that. How do we bring ballistics in and have them like work within this world? And then every time they do that, they go to that, they fucking kill the other thing. They never like
yeah,
are trying to make this, all right, we like this aspect. How do we build on it? Instead of, no,
yeah,
well, they're really good now. Well, we got to make sure somebody wants to use these. So now we need to make these really good, which either kills
yep,
it's like they never just go, yeah, they're all good. Everything's good and everything's fun, but for different reasons. Like, again, I'm
yep,
not much of an Eve combat pilot, but like, and the thing about Eve is you can't make that comparison with Star Citizen because of the fact that you are physically flying the ship. In Eve, you're not really doing that as much. It's so the idea of, well, I'm gonna get range on this guy versus like it's such a more simple experience in Eve Online. Oh, I'm gonna fly away from them. I'm faster than them. They can't catch up. My ship is better at range. I'm gonna fucking win this fight. Like, that's something that happens in Eve Online, where in Star Citizen
mm,
that can happen, but it doesn't happen well. Like, I don't know. If you were going to make lasers good, what would you do? Because like cannons have to be what? They have to be long range, but hard to fire close up, and then ballistics or not ballistics, repeaters have to be short range, and easy to fire close up, but not work far away, and but I just don't know how you go about that, and they clearly are struggling with that too, right? So I don't
I
know.
just think they have to prioritize fun. It's like
Yeah.
if a lot of people hop into a certain ship and they're like, man, this is great, and everyone knows it's OP as hell,
Yep.
they need to sit there and go, okay, one, we know it's OP. Two, if we nerf it, we're going to upset a lot of people. Three, why are they having so much fun? And I don't think they ever look at number three. And
Yeah.
a good example is, do you remember when the Ion first came out
Yeah,
and
and I
it
fucking
got
shit
nerfed?
on you for this, but I
Yeah.
think but that's fine. Let's go. Bring it.
the the point I'm trying to make is, should a ship like that be one-shotting ships and 1v7ing? Okay. No, it shouldn't.
No.
But holy fuck, was that fun. That
Yes.
ship was so much fun. But it wasn't fun because you were 1v7ing people. It was
I'd
fun
argue
because
yes, it was, and that's my
no,
fucking argument
no,
with
but
you. Is of course
yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah, oh, it adds it, but like there's a lot
Yeah,
of fun to, you only get one shot, it's like single shot rifle kind of a thing, right?
it
Like
was a sniper. Yeah,
it was like a Mosin,
yeah,
there was a lot of fun to using it like a bolt rifle where
sure.
you try to get the shot, you're under pressure. It was a complete different experience to, I'm using Panther laser repeaters and I'm just hosing you.
Yep.
Like there was a lot of dopamine with, I gotta land this shot. I need to land this shot. I got it. Nice. It's like there was so much to that, and instead it's like they're just like, all right, this thing is, people are having way too much fun in this thing. Take it off the board, and we never see it again. Which is where it is right now. And I get it. The point of it was for Idris's and stuff. I understand that. But I think that they need to look at that and be like, okay, why were people having fun? And I'll just say this. A lot of people were having a lot of fun in that ship, not just because it was so strong, but because it was a complete unique play style. And it was,
Yep.
man. It was, you would joust through, like with Panthers or laser repeaters, you're just hosing them. You keep them in front of you. With that cannon, because it would go on cooldown every time you shot it, you had to fly past, and you had to fly differently with that thing. Like you had to manage distance, and it was just a whole different play style. And that's completely deleted off the board because they weren't happy with it.
All
So,
right. I
and
want to.
it's not the perfect example, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay. I don't want to keep you for too much longer, but I
So,
just was reminded of myself that okay. So before we got on the show today, me and Virgil were at a call, and I'm not very happy with the state of the game and
right,
crafting and shit, and
listen, you
I'm
need to
miserable.
you need to be honest. No, I think I've called Mike a lot of times, bro. He sounded depressed.
Yeah,
Like it was.
I don't think this
I
game.
was like, holy shit! I shouldn't have called you, dude.
Yeah, I don't think the game's ever going to be good for me. I feel like I will eventually quit Star Citizen based on just a lot of the things that they're talking about. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to stop trying to share what I think is good, and that doesn't mean that I hate the game or anything like that. And the reason why I bring that up is because I still think about the game all the time. This thought came up in my mind just randomly in the shower the other day, and I'm curious what you think about it. Is they want flight to play a factor, right? They want all these cinematic fights and all this bullshit. But I feel like
Yeah.
they have to gamify things in order to work. And one of the things that I was thinking of is what is your goal when you're a light fighter pilot against like a saber, right? The goal is to pancake them, to get
Yeah.
their belly or their top to be facing you. And I don't know if the game can
Yeah.
handle this, but this was my like gamify idea that would maintain flight being a factor, but um that RPG dice roll type stuff to play a factor as well, that makes some sense, but allows there to be this more rock paper scissors type thing. Like if you're in a Gladius and you're fighting against a Gladius with that is good at ballistics, and you're fighting against a Saber who is good at defending ballistics, let's say. It wouldn't be. That wouldn't make sense for the but just for the example. If they pancake and you so what pancake means is like you see their ship like this instead of like this. For the people that are watching, right? So there's a lot more of them that scene. Now in Star Citizen, that's a great thing already because you just have more to aim at and you're going to hit less often, or you're going to hit more often. But in this example, maybe you're going to do more damage. Maybe you're going to hit more components, or there's more of these like potential dice rolls that are going to happen and that work in your favor because you outpiloted the person or something, right? What if
Mhm.
that was a thing and it was like very gamified? Like if they pancaked, there was like a UI element that was like, shoot now, idiot. You got him. Like I was thinking about that the other day. Would that work? Would that be something that is anti what you want for the game? It was just an idea that came in
No.
my mind. It wasn't like this is the best idea ever. This needs to happen. So don't think I'm like out there, commenters, things like that. I'm not claiming that's what CIG should do. It's just something that popped in my head that was like, that's very gamey, but also still allows for the skill expression.
It's existed before. Like,
Okay.
and I don't know if you know this. Like, they actually deleted this. But you
Because
should
it's how it
also
works for
know that, like,
scanning.
yeah, because like, okay, so the Gladius used to be you cut it in half. There was the nose, which is
Yep.
like the cockpit, like and around that, and then there was the body, which was the back, and
Yep.
you could kill the ship by doing damage to the body or damage to the nose. Now the problem with this was that whenever you would do the pancake, the first half of the duel that you did damage to the face didn't help because you were starting from scratch because you now got the pancake. Do you get it? So it was like two
Yeah.
different health pools.
Yeah.
So and Monty actually, I think it was that fixed this was he unified it. So like yeah, like 100 I'd be totally fine with it, especially with like engineering and armor. Like you because if you go above the saber and you pancake it, then you're looking directly down at the components. But if
Oh,
you're
let me jump
facing the
in.
saber,
Let me jump
go
in.
ahead.
Like along with the radar changes that they made, when they pancake, you like this is another thing where like there's still skill expression in the flight, but your auto targeting becomes insanely effective. That was another thing that
If
had
you get a
popped in
good
my head.
position,
Yes. So the like you do not miss then until
mhm.
like they get out of that vulnerable position. Like so again, not something I'm asking for, not something I'm saying should happen, just an idea that came in my mind that allows there to be this flight skill expression, but it allows the space dad to also hit a target more effectively and it be gamified enough that it's like not too much but is enough, I don't know. So it's just an idea.
Yeah, like I don't mind.
I'm
I
not
don't
dying on the
mind
hill
like
though.
UI elements to put. No, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. I think we all wish that was the case. Like that's always been one of our criticisms is that you're not rewarded for good flight.
Yeah.
Like at the moment, and I think this is partially why the new flight model's coming out is because like when fights reach the skill ceiling, it's just face to face. You're just punching each
Hmm.
other in the face. You can't even
Yeah.
get around each other because the same ship can defend itself just as good as it can offense. So it's just a stalemate of face to face.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, like I think everybody wishes that you were rewarded better for actually getting a position on. It's like jujitsu, right? Like if you get someone's
Exactly.
back, you're in a good position. So yeah, 100%. It's totally fun. I think we all just were hoping that that was coming with armor and engineering, and I think that's probably still the plan. So yeah,
Yeah.
you
I
could
just
like
mean like
ways you could
very
do this
gamey.
is
Very gamey.
yeah, yeah,
That's the only thing.
ways you could ways you could do this, but there's downsides that you might not have thought about too. Though, is like you're looking at this from like a 1v1 perspective. In team fights, like when there's like 10, 20 dudes, you'd be surprised at how easily someone can just randomly shoot you and they're doing double damage and
Yeah.
stuff like that too. So there's push and pull, but yeah, no, for sure. Like I'm okay with them making it easier for people, and I'll tell you what, like master modes made it a lot easier. Like master mode, like this, the difficulty. You know, when Chris always said, "I want to, I want flight combat to be easy to get into, difficult to master." That's exactly what he got out of master modes. That's what it is. Like master modes is really easy to be average in, and it's really hard to be really good in. Like that's the case. Like he nailed that on the head. Is it as pretty as what we want it to be? Is it as
Is it
skillful as
fun?
we want it to be? No. Yeah, is it as fun? No. It's got work to do, but like they've hit the nail on the head there. I'd argue that they're doing good things to encourage that as well. Like
Yeah.
the bringing the radar ranges down to kind of force you to get up close and stop playing the wrong ways, like another great example.
I think that was a good
You know,
thing
like
for
people,
sure. That was a W.
yeah, people didn't know that you're supposed to be under 1,000. Like, but most of the population didn't.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Well, if
when
the
everyone's
pip
like, "Oh,
shows
what do you
up,
think of the radar changes?" I was like, "Bro, I was never shooting outside of 1,000,
yeah,
anyways."
so it doesn't
So
affect you.
yeah, so like, I'm okay with them gamifying things like that for sure, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I just mean
People think that
insanely
we like
gamey.
the
So
game.
I know that's
Yeah.
why I'm like, I'm not, I'm not like, this is not a hill I care about. I'm just saying it's something that popped in my head, and I was like, I wonder what people would think. And then I
No,
forgot about
I'm
it
for
until
it. I'm
now.
for it.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm for it.
It's getting late in Australia. We haven't talked about fast travel yet. What did you think when
Oh
you heard
yeah.
this?
I would say this. I already fast travel in the game. I'm gonna be honest here. What
Same.
I do is I create my character in Orison,
Yep.
and then if I ever go to Pyro to do some activities, I set my spawn in Pyro,
Yep.
and then I do like content in Pyro,
Yep.
and then when I want to fast travel, I go back to where I was spawn set in Pyro, and I clear out my spawn, and then I backspace and it teleports me back to Crusader. So
Same.
like to a degree, it already happens. But I like the way it happens because I'm not teleporting into combat, I'm teleporting out of it. Like
Yeah.
it's not out of combat, but I'm going to a place of no consequence. If I'm teleporting into some base that fucking Mike snuck himself into, and 100 of us are teleporting inside of these guys' base, it's dumb as shit. Like worst thing ever. So like, I don't get the point of that. I saw some people saying, wouldn't it be cool if you could teleport into the crew quarters of another ship? Okay, like maybe that would be a decent enough middle ground or something. I just like it to make sense. But if it's some teleport to leader because he's sitting at the entrance of a dungeon, holy fuck, have we slipped from what this game was supposed to be, dude? We are playing World of Warcraft at that point. So I don't like it, to be honest, at all. But I'd also be there'd be a lot of irony in what I'm saying because I currently do it to that. So
Well,
I think
you
that
have to look at,
there's
and it's
some
very
push and pull
weird.
somewhere.
The push and pull has got to be Chris Roberts, and it's like this is the part that it's just so frustrating. Is they probably can't convince him to speed up quantum travel. They probably can't convince him to just stop with the immersion, overdoing the immersion shit. So the idea here is like, okay, we'll allow you to fast travel, but only in this little situation, right? But like, I don't know. We bring up Eve all the time. There's sinos that you can light, and
Yeah,
a bunch of
that's
people jump
exactly what I
in,
was gonna say.
and like those are viable ways of playing the game.
Make a
But
make
that
a
is the biggest.
ship.
But that's the biggest problem with Eve Online right now. If you ask anybody who is in the big, massive nullsec blocks, everybody hates the force projection problem, and that is I can be miles away from. Yep. I can be sinos,
Okay.
jump bridges, all these things. You can get across the galaxy in that game way too quickly, and it makes it so the big nullsec blocks, which are just like big alliances of massive people for people who don't play EVE Online, they control way too much space because they're able to. So instead of allowing the little guy to get in and own some space out there, it's three groups that own everything. And then there's another section of the game where there used to be a fourth group, and one of the big groups allows people to live there. But if they get out of hand and start controlling too much, they're going to kill them because they can force project themselves right on there. So a jump clone system in EVE Online, which is exactly like killing yourself and then ending up in a different place, is totally fine for me too. But I also I have no issue with jumping to the dungeon. I hate that it is like what you're saying, but the reason I have no issue with it is because I know they're not going to give up their bullshit about riding 50 fucking trams to get anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's one of these things like Chris is never going to give that up. He still talks about his fucking coffee mug in the middle of a forest. This fucking guy won't let it go. He won't let it go.
I just think there's a middle ground somewhere. There's whether it's you can only teleport onto a capital ship or something in between. I just don't want dungeon summoning stones. Teleport to leader. That's ridiculous. Setting a hearthstone to Orison or Levski so that you're bridging 70% of the distance you've got to go to link up with your friends makes sense, but fucking teleport the leader sounds horrible.
See, I'm
horrible, and I'd be instantly thinking about how I could abuse it. Really?
Yes, as long as it's out of combat.
Yeah, but how would that ever be the case?
Well, all right, I'm in. Okay, so as somebody who does non-combat stuff all the time, as people who do non-combat stuff all the time, I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to do it in a ship. So example, you have to join another ship, or just to a station or something like that. But dude, when people are all around the game world and I want people around Pyro 4, it's it's awful. It's awful. Nobody's ever ready, and then the amount of time it takes to get anywhere is brutal. So, and things are already happening with this. If you saw the refuel mechanics, I just press a button and an NPC just pops up right next to me and refuels me now.
I would argue I'd just rather the quantum times come down.
That's where I wanted to go next. It's they're not going away from that for some reason, but the solution is just chill out with all that stuff first. Try these other things first. Yeah. Allow us to trade with each other from far distances first, and then they can go pick it up later. Why do we always have to be right next to each other to do anything? There's all these other aspects of the game that before you do this huge, drastic idea, you got to try these other things first.
Yeah.
Right?
But the thing is too is we're not grounded in the game. They just it's a giant theme park and they just put a fucking content drop in a corner of the theme park and we're just going from A to D to F. There's no we're not grounded in anything.
Nope.
There's no reason to want to go to one
Pyro
spot and kind of spend your time there. Yeah. You're not grounded to anything. But I'd also argue that, address the problem at the source with fucking who cares? Delete the trams, bro. The trams are a waste of time. The 20 minutes to jump across Pyro's 20 minutes for no reason.
They have to see the
there's
player.
No value in it.
Yeah, they have to see that players immediately leave their home location, go to the station above it, put all their stuff up there, set spawns in Levski, not at Levski, at the other stations because they're easier to get around if they're in there. If you're in Pyro, it's a great experience because there are no fucking trams at those stations, right? But the other argument I was making too is I have no problems in the game jumping through a jump point. It's a minute and a half, and I've made a significant change. I've moved somewhere completely different. If the quantum travel mechanics were way more like that, where I'm actively flying, kind of, and it's about a minute and a half only, and I've gotten to where I wanted to go, who cares? I'm totally fine with that. That to me, if there was more that mechanic, I'm cool with it. like quantum travel, just sitting there, standing. That's the other aspect of it too. Is you literally you're doing nothing. So the person who's waiting to get for you, like it takes an hour to set this thing up situation, it's literally an hour of doing nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
like
don't think there's a
fast
huge
travel,
argument for it.
fast travel
Like,
is literally a better option than that, right? But again, like we said, I am not
I,
for fast travel as the first solution to this problem. But if they're
yeah,
not going
yeah.
to solve the other
Well, you
stuff,
got to look
there
at
is no
why
other
do
option.
people. Yeah. Why would people even want to debate it? Because some of the stuff is tedious. Like a good
Yep.
example, like if you were to fly to checkmate or something, it's like, do you want to set your spawn? Do you really have to go land in a hangar, then go through an elevator, then go through the station, find the medical, click a terminal, and then go back to your ship? Why can't you just fly to the station and then comlink to set the spawn? Like, instead of having to go land and all that,
Yep.
you just fly to the station, comlink, you upload your DNA or whatever, and then bang, that's your spawn point. Like they could add some convenience like that, but I after 8 years of no loading screens and Coca-Cola cans under trees,
Yep.
right click teleport to leader just gives me the icks. It gives me the icks. I'm okay with the Hearthstone. I'm okay with some stuff like that, but magically appearing out of thin air at some random location is too weird for me. Like it's super. It's like, well, why all the other immersion? Why do I have to go to the bathroom if I can teleport the leader? Like it's. I
I
just think
mean,
it's a bit silly,
dude,
and I
they've
think it
added
kind of.
yeah, they've
Go ahead.
added 3 star systems or two more star systems, and they haven't changed anything with quantum travel. Like the play space
Yeah.
is massively bigger. They've changed nothing. Who
Yeah.
cares if I go from Orison to Hurston in 30 seconds to a minute? Like
Yeah.
here's my other argument though, dude. You fight somebody like you're asking for a low TTK, right? On the fighters.
Yeah.
Fine. I got no issue with that. I'm with you for that. As an industrial player, I'm asking for the opposite. And the reason I'm asking for the opposite is how do I survive these fights? Like we've talked so many times about the idiots who are saying, "Oh, bring escorts with you if you want to survive." No, I don't want escorts. I want to
Mhm.
be able to call in my friends and protect myself.
Mhm.
So like I
Mhm.
don't care how we get it, but I do want people to be able to get to me quickly. And just I need to
Yeah.
reference
this because somebody on YouTube that probably didn't hear the beginning. Man, Virgil interrupts nonstop. So am I. He's in Australia. I'm in America. I'm in voice. Or I'm in on camera. He's not, so we can't see. So it's just we're not doing it on purpose, and we're not being assholes. It's just the nature of the situation. So chill out. Um, but yeah, like we need to be able to defend ourselves in that way. The escort idea has never been a good idea, but being able to call in help has always been what I thought should be the thing. But I shouldn't because then there's too many situations where like with this teleport thing, ooh, I'm just a mole flying around as bait and then all of a sudden 50 people come in, right? Like that's not a good
Yeah.
experience for anybody either. Like it happens in Eve and it's fun for the attacker sometimes. But yeah, it overall is not the best thing in the world. So,
Yeah, I get it. Like I don't. The problem is though is like if you're asking for. Yeah. See, this is where it gets funny, right? Because like, say you're in a cargo ship. Let's not say it's like a big one. It's
sure.
a middle-sized
Hole.
one. There's no world in which you could call friends and they get there in time. Like there's none. Like there's because they got to get in their ship. They have to they have to get to their ship. They have to take off. They have to get through the hangar queue.
Yep.
Then they have to warp over to you. Like you're talking about extending the TTK by like 3,000% at that point, right? Like
Exactly.
it's
So then
just
you have to
not feasible.
solve the problem of what you just said first.
Yeah, which is, but fuck, would I still not want teleport the leader? So like I don't know, like whether it's trade routes that make more sense and that are going to be more risky, so you would actually plan ahead, or you know methods at which you can gauge risk, rather than the randomness of it now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the answer or something, but Yeah, I don't know. Like for the record though, like I don't care about there being a longer TTK on other stuff. It's just the fighter combat that we need the shorter TTK on. The the fighter versus fighter stuff's where it needs to be short. The but when it comes to bigger ships that have crews, make it as long as you want because as soon as it turns to disable, like let's duke it out in FPS. Like let's make boarding a real thing, and by to make boarding a real thing, you extend the TTK after you've soft killed it and stuff. So that all makes sense. Um, totally fine with it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
But
we got to figure
yeah, I don't
something
know.
out.
My answer, it's
There's no
just
denying
icky
it's a
to me.
problem, but what the solution
Yeah,
is, this is the easiest solution, right?
yeah,
And that's the
yeah,
scary part. And then Jared on SCL, which you probably didn't see, was like, we recognize that it's a problem, and we are not, and we were going to try solutions. So whether we tried this one or not, we don't know because they never said they're absolutely doing this. By the way, they said this wasn't even signed off. By the way, um,
yeah,
but they were like, we're going to try solutions, and you may like them and you may not like them. But yeah, 100%. They like them just ignoring the fact that the game has been built from the ground up in the shittiest way possible from that standpoint. They just they refuse to recognize that, and we've been calling it out not for years, for a decade at this point, that this is stupid. Every Port Olisar goes away. Fuck me, man. That was the only place we could load up a ship instantly and get ready to go.
yep, yep. Yeah, I get
You
it. I
know?
totally get it. Yeah, like teleport to leader could be like, I'd even teleport to nearest city. It could be a middle ground that I can
Yeah.
settle for or something like that. Like I just think it's like, yeah, magically appearing at a dungeon entrance or something. I just think is too much. I just think there's too much. There'll be a middle ground in there somewhere where I'd be okay with it for sure. Because it's
Yeah.
again, I am very ironic because I don't think there's a player in this game that doesn't backspace to get from A to B sometimes. Like that happens a
Of
lot.
course.
So,
What are you going to do?
and
Spend
and
an
that
hour?
doesn't
Like,
ruin it for
hey,
anyone.
I got 20 minutes before I got to
Yep.
leave. What am I going to spend an hour trying to get to another state? Like, and again, there's just there's no, there's nothing to this game, right? There's literally nothing to the game. So players just skipping as much as possible whenever possible is because there's no consequence, there's no purpose, there's no nothing in the game yet. So yeah, I don't know. Um,
No, fair enough.
but I'd like to see them again try and solve these other problems before doing the most extreme thing possible, which is, and I think CIG is totally fine with the jump to party leader for the exact reason that you hate it, to go to a dungeon, because the dungeon affects nobody in their mind. It's got no PvP
Yeah,
aspect to it.
as long as it like you're not wrong. If it was tied like specifically to the dungeon, then maybe that's a middle ground I'd shake hands on. It's
Yeah.
just teleport to leader, and leader can be fucking anywhere. Is where I'd be like, ugh,
Hasn't
like
that
so.
killed
Yeah, I
hasn't
get
this
it.
dungeon
I
finder
think that,
shit killed so many other MMOs, like the MMO
yeah,
aspect of
people
MMOs as
people
well?
complain. Yeah, and it's true. Fuck, I'm just realizing now that the PvP community will be pissed at me because like a lot of it's like people get mad in classic WoW that you can do that because then that you don't travel to that location,
Yeah.
therefore you can't get intercepted there, therefore you kill the world. So like, yeah, I get it. Maybe that is a terrible idea. And if people want to do the dungeon in the station, then part of doing the dungeon should be safely getting to the station in your ships. So
Maybe like, and
yeah,
or
like
or be at, I
maybe
don't
something like
know.
that.
Like the other thing they said was, they said teleport to leader or teleports to leader's hangar. Because again, nothing's signed off. They haven't made any decisions. So you may not be out anywhere. But again,
Yeah,
like,
like a hangar could work. I think major cities are a good one because it's like you go to a major city, you're out of armistice, you're out of the way, it it's not a big deal. There can't be any consequences to that,
Yeah.
etc. So
The last thing
don't know, like
is
maybe something there.
yeah, the last thing I'll say on it is exactly what you said. Like, and this is like an Eve thing as well, is Intel. Like in a real game where consequence matters, or like you're actually in competition with somebody else. It doesn't necessarily have to be PvE, PvP stuff. If there's an ability to go from Stanton to Pyro without taking the Pyro jump gate, that's a bad thing. If there's a way to go from Hurston to Orison without jumping, that's probably a bad thing because nobody's going to be able to see that you did it. And if your org and my org were at war, you would see us spawn maybe around Levski, and then you would be able to tell where we're going. But if we just teleport, you don't know where we're going. And I guess in EVE Online, there's the Sino beacon, so you may know where that beacon is, and you might, have eyes everywhere or something like that. But a game like Star Citizen doesn't work like EVE Online, so these kind of things are less relatable. So yeah, this is a really dangerous idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love the
Dude,
idea of in Eve like a mining fleet
like
jumping me somewhere. So I don't know. It's weird. It's tough. I love the conduits and Black Ops stuff in EVE Online. Like I love that. I really enjoy it. But it's bad. I think it's overall bad for the game. It doesn't mean I don't have fun with it. So I'm have this weird bias towards it. But I also realize how fucking horrible it is. So,
I think
yeah.
people don't like what it symbolizes too. It's like it's more ground that we've lost towards this becoming more like World of Warcraft and not what like
Yeah.
everyone's argument is, oh, they're turning this game into a theme park. Well, this is one step
This is really bad.
theme park. And,
yeah.
Yeah, and further away from what we all thought. Like, and that's another thing about it too, is it's just the next thing. What comes after that? How ridiculous does it get after the next step?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I would just hope that whatever they do come up, like, do I think it should exist? Sure. Do I think it should be as crazy as teleport delete it? No, I think there's somewhere in the middle that would keep both parties happy and not ruin the game.
Yeah, and the last thing would be like, you absolutely should not be able to teleport a ship. Just you.
Yeah, right. Cool. Fuck.
Yeah, because then that would be a big problem.
I'd rather Sino.
But then, what if there's
Sino
cargo
would be
in
the
your
end of the world?
But then what? Like, dude, you're Sinoing cargo from one place to another without having to do
to the economy or something.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you could make it really expensive fuel wise because that's a thing. But there's so many edge cases that I don't know. Dangerous shit. All right, I don't want to keep you any longer. It's late over there in Australia. Is there anything you want to say before we go for the day?
No, I'm good. I think the game's going in a real good, like, the last 2 months, despite Flight being like in dogfighting, being in such a bad spot. I think the game's going in like a real good direction. I think a lot of us point out at what's wrong with it.
Yes.
And don't give it enough credit for they're doing right. Like, you and me have been doing these podcasts for fucking
years,
very long time. This was before there was crafting. I remember when they introduced player looting, and you and me were like, "Holy shit, this is crazy!" We didn't see that.
Now look at us, looting
and
nothing.
now we're crafting stuff. Like it's, and like this. The last 2 weeks, I've been Actually, I shouldn't say this on your podcast because it's really spicy. But I've been like taxing weapons where you knock people out, you take their guns.
That's not spicy at all. It's
not an exploit, but everybody thinks it is. Yeah, but
because CIG said it wasn't an exploit, and you guys are all fucking using that to your advantage. But it is. Yeah. It is negating. It is like avoiding a gameplay system, but they said it was intended gameplay. So now everybody's using that as a reference. It It happened to
And
me in Ruin, and
everyone
it
is
felt
in the
horrible. But then I was like, ooh, but now I have to craft another gun. This is awesome. Anybody who
Yeah.
says it's
And I
intended,
was
you're
like,
coping because some fucking idiot said it on Spectrum and you're using that to your advantage.
no, it was
What's
Zach.
intended then?
Zach said it. Zach said it. Zach, it was Zach. Zach
Yeah.
said it's
Well,
intended.
Zach's an idiot. Like, sorry. Like, how can you say that N tier 0 item recovery exists? Like, they contradict each other. Somebody's wrong there. It's intended in the future, though. So that's why it's like totally fine. I'm not
And that's why I
arguing
feel
for tier
guilty
0,
about
guys. I'm the last person who would. So just to be clear.
Yeah, fuck tier 0.
But anyone saying it's intended, you're coping. You're dumb.
But I enjoy it because I sit there and tell myself, well, we're gonna be able to loot in the future. We used to be able to loot.
Exactly.
CIG said it's okay. So fuck it, I'm gonna do it. But I'll tell you what, like I've had a ton of fun. Like I loot the gun and I'm like, oh look at the stat. Is it crafted? Oh, it's crafted and it's max crafted. This is the best ever. Like
Yep.
I've been having a lot of fun because of progression in this game. Like organizing with the guys, you know, who's going to get the best crafted stuff, who's getting it first, trying to turn our org into an industrial org at the same time. You've seen me on Discord with the banner that we're recruiting binding players and stuff. Like
that's a
we're
whole
having
other
to change
conversation.
everything up. We're having to change everything up because the game's evolving into actually a game. So
Yeah.
I'd say for the shit we give it, it's going a lot more in the right direction than it is
Sure.
the wrong. We just did a couple tweaks, and I'm really happy with things, man. Like, yeah, progression. You and me are doing trade deals and stuff. We could be doing more. They could be better. They could be better encouraged, but we are doing it. You know, like, and we will be in the future. So I'm happy with it, man. It's not perfect, but things are trending in a good direction.
Yeah, for sure. Mike is
So.
feeling pushed out, people are saying, and somebody else in Twitch chat said industrial org, he just wants mining slaves, and I was like, yep, that's why I rolled my eyes, because obviously that's not what he wants, but that is what he wants.
Yeah,
and,
we call them that.
Yeah,
I just want people that really love to mine, and that's all they want to do all day.
Yeah, and the thing is you won't. Sure. If the game was good, you wouldn't need that. But like, if the game had had good mechanics for like buying and selling and things like that, you would just have everybody would, you know, all miners in the game would be at your service then, right? And it's just the lack of that existing is the problem. But because UEX is paying to deal with all that stuff,
we need it.
Yes, exactly.
It's
exactly.
Cool. It's cool that like those guys are now important and sought after. Yeah.
The way they do it. So. The RNG, like, a whole nother podcast. It's fucking shit, and I hate it. Yeah. So that's why I'm feeling shitty about the game.
That is not one you'd invite me to, because I still haven't mud the rock. So no.
Exactly. But for me, this patch was so disappointing because I was so excited to be the guys to supply not just you and your guys, but a lot of other people, and then. The way it works is just so RNG based, so time consuming that you can barely supply yourself, let alone others. And I hope there's a solution to that problem. Some stuff in 4.8 we'll see that you're crafting so many things now with so much material that you are going to have to desire lower quality material for everything now, because there's just too much of it that's going to get used and not enough out there.
This like massively, like we were looking at the requirements for ship components. We're like, oh my god, that's a lot. It's a lot. So,
and there's more good stuff in 4.8, but it's still not enough, I don't think. So I don't know what the solutions are. I don't want to discuss them. Don't care, because it is what's in the game, and we just have to point out that like this worked or this didn't, and we'll only see when 4.8 is live. But like, I don't know what I'm gonna do for supplying PvP orgs, because I don't know how I can make the argument that I have to dedicate all my 900 quality iron to a fucking FPS weapon now, when it's used for other components that everyone in the game wants, right? Versus just a few select people. So it's going to be a tough situation, and we'll have to see. So you and I'm sure I'll talk with your guys about things that they need, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Verge, thank you for coming on. Thanks for filling in for Croncy.
No
Again,
worries.
he was
Fun
sick
as
and
always, man.
hell yeah, some good conversations and some good fun and some good back and forth. As always,
And
man,
be
I
gentle
appreciate
with
you.
me in the comments, okay? I love the
He's
Idris,
sensitive,
all right?
guys.
I'm a
He's
big
sensitive.
fan, okay?
He's
Yeah.
sensitive. He can't take it, guys. You gotta be nice. You gotta be nice. All right, Verge, be good, man. Thank you so much.
GG's.
Bye now.
Thanks.
All right. How do I do this alone? This is more challenging.